What's going on, everybody? Crypto Headquarters here, and today I'm going to show you guys how you guys can make passive income by just running your computer and devoting some of its resources to running a Substratum node. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in the video and hopefully provide you guys with all the information necessary to run a Substratum node when we get more information from the team. With that said, I'm going to start off with a disclaimer that says none of the information in this video is investment or financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. Please do your own research before investing. Invest at your own risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Consult a financial advisor if necessary. Additionally, I will say, to be fully transparent with you guys, I am not invested in a Substratum at the time of making this video. With all of that said, let's jump right into it. Before we jump right into how you guys can start making money with Substratum nodes when they eventually come out from the team, I think it's very important you guys understand how Substratum nodes work. So basically, if you guys understand these three things on the network, you guys have a pretty good understanding of how Substratum nodes work and how their relationship is between the hosts and the web visitors and the people who want to see the content. So first, let's start off with the host. The host serves the content. So new sites and apps are added to the decentralized web. These are websites like Facebook or Walmart.com, Amazon, things that people want to go to. They're the website host. Then, people that want to see that, so everyday people that use the Substratum network that type in Walmart.com or whatever website that you want to go to, they type that in and they click it. But in order to go from their search engine or whatever page they're on to Walmart's actual website in this example, a node has to transmit the data. So users running nodes forward the requested information and are actually able to then go to the site. So the node is an intermediary between the web visitors and the host hosts actually pay the nodes per click. And we're going to get to that in a second, but I think that this infographic illustrates very well the relationship between the people that want to view the content, the host that has the content, and the fact that the node basically transports visitors from the search engine or what they're looking at to the actual website. So that's the network at a glance, as Substratum says in their website. Then, if we just go a little bit more in depth with the Substratum hosts, everyone can publish their website in a decentralized web, and Substratum tools are simple but powerful, and unlike hosting providers such as AWS, you only pay per click, and that's huge. And they're going to go into the next paragraph, and they say that unlike providers such as AWS or Rackspace, hosts on the Substratum network pay per click, which we established, not for overall uptime. This creates an economical and direct relationships between the site's popularity and the cost of web hosting. Basically, what this means is you can host a website for a cost-efficient amount of time. If your website doesn't drive a lot of traffic, you're not paying ridiculous fees just because it's up and running, even though nobody's visiting it. If you're building a brand or you have something that a few people visit for your own personal interest or whatever it may be, you can do that on the Substratum web because you're only paying the people who are hosting nodes when users click on your website. So it's cost efficient, and I think that's a huge upside of Substratum. So definitely that's going to allow a lot more websites to exist in the ecosystem because there's not going to be that barrier to entry of money and finances that come with hosting a website. Here they talk about ending censorship, which is huge. That really doesn't have anything to do with the nodes, but just another advantage of the Substratum platform. And then we get to the Substratum nodes. So the power of many is what this is called on their website. And they say Substratum nodes work like forwarding points to the network. A lot of this I've already established, but this is what the Substratum team put out for you guys. So when a user requests a site, nodes use artificial intelligence to find the fastest way to get information to them sites, so point A to point B, and multiple nodes can work to fulfill a single request, which splits the data in unique parts for added security. So they can use multiple nodes. Your nodes can work together with somebody else's, and you can get somebody from point A to point B faster than doing it yourself, is basically what they're saying there. That really doesn't have any importance to you guys because the node's going to be doing this all by itself, but definitely an interesting insight to how the nodes work. So that's what the node is. And then how do you guys earn money? So this is what you guys have been waiting for in this video. So anyone hosting a Substratum node gets paid each time they deliver content. It's incredibly simple. You don't even have the technical knowledge to participate. So the barrier to entry, again, is very low with this, and it doesn't involve a lot of knowledge about computers, technology, or even the ins and outs of cryptocurrency that mining may provide, as again, another barrier to entry with that. Substratum makes it very easy for the average person to host nodes, which is huge for mass adoption on the platform because it's important to understand that the Substratum decentralized web will not work if they don't have a sufficient amount of people hosting nodes on their platform. Nodes are the way the platform runs and is a key and integral part of how their web works. So it is important that the barrier to entry and the way that people are able to use the Substratum nodes are very easy to get people to use them and not say, oh, this is too much work and whatnot. So that is huge for you guys that want to get into nodes. It's going to be very easy, and the Substratum team is going to be able to walk you through. Next, just run your node in the background and make money. Node software even adjusts its output so you can use your computer without losing much bandwidth. This is another huge point. They also outline this in the next paragraph. So before I go into this, let's just jump into this. So Node software automatically adjusts to output based on a variety of factors. If a computer is largely idle, the node kicks into high gear. If the user is watching a movie, the node down regulates as to not interfere. So not only are you not going to have to micromanage your node to say, oh, I'm playing a game on Steam, or I'm streaming a movie, or I'm making a video, or whatever you might be doing on your computer, the Substratum node is going to take cues from your processing power, and it's going to understand how much power it can actually use to not interfere and not be a nuisance to what you're actually doing on the computer. So the Substratum node is basically going to be self-sufficient, is basically going to run itself unless you guys have issues or you want to turn it off, or maybe you want to turn it up, how much bandwidth or whatever the settings you want to mess with. So that is also huge. You're not going to have to micromanage the Substratum node. So another huge advantage there. If I scroll down, they just basically talk about the web user who's going to visit sites on the hosted decentralized web. These are the people that you're going to be transporting from A to B to C or wherever they might go. So that is a look into the three main things that you guys should understand with the Substratum nodes, the hosts, and the web visitors that see the content. At this point in the video, I want to show you guys an interactive demo, something the Substratum team released about the Substratum nodes and how the UI is going to look and what it's going to look like when you actually run this on your desktop and computer. So you can find this under the Earn Money tab under the Substratum.net, how it works, and if you click it, it's going to bring you to the YouTube page where they released a Substratum UI sneak peek. It's important to know that Substratum is actually, these nodes are not out yet, but they will be coming out within the next few months, and there's nothing concrete about the date and time revolving about when it's going to come out, but some people speculate it's going to come out when they release their beta and when they continue to release updates in the future. So this is not too far off, and it's great to have a head start and understanding already, but I've blabbered enough. Let's go into what the UI is going to look like. So at the top here, you can turn your network on or off. You have the network, you have your earnings. So this is your lifetime earnings, how much you're earning per hour, 30 days, year to date today. So you're already seeing just plain black and white the amount of Substratum that you're earning from running this, which is awesome to see. They're not putting it behind anything complicated to understand. You see that I earn 3.5 sub every hour, and I've earned 42 Substratum today. So that's awesome to see. Very transparent. The overview, it shows you the serving and receiving when you're running your node. So that's just a bunch of technical stuff that involves the bandwidth associated with that. And then we go over to, it's eventually going to head over to the settings tab. And this is awesome to look at because you can fiddle with a lot of settings over on here. So it says auto detector, that's going to be your location. You can turn your Substratum node on, off. You can run the blockchain, the DNS, the sidechain. And here's what I really want to focus on. You can actually increase the performance or decrease the performance on your computer depending on how much Substratum and how much computing power that you want to afford to the node. While I did say earlier in the video that the Substratum node is going to be smart enough to understand what you're doing on the computer and basically adjust itself accordingly. But if you would like to use all 16 gigabytes of your CPU and GPU, all 16 gigabytes of your memory, and all 16 gigabytes of your network, you can by all means do that, and you can increase your earnings estimation per hour. So if you really want to go hard, you can definitely adjust that. So it's not just something the Substratum team sets for you, which is awesome. A lot of customization available here. And here's something really cool that the Substratum team really just goes above and beyond, and they continue to impress me with stuff like this because on Monday you can see there's a schedule. So from 2 to 7 a.m. they're going to be running their node. Tuesday completely off. Wednesday 2 to 7 a.m. So you can adjust the schedule of your node. If you really wanted to, you could leave your computer running for a week, never touch it, and come back with, I don't know, 100, 200, 300, depending on how much computing power and how much you're allocating to the node. You could come back with free passive income for literally doing nothing other than running your computer. So that is awesome, and that is cool just to see that you can schedule this and you can never touch it. So when I label this video passive income, it really is. There's not a lot of maintenance. There's not a lot to do on your part as the person running the node. All of it is pretty much already done and integrated the UI built by the Substratum team. If I scroll to the end of the video, you're going to have your account. So once you have the Substratum, you're going to have to send it to your wallet. Otherwise, you won't have it. You know, this is pretty self-explanatory if you guys have ever sent something from wallet to wallet or exchange to exchange. But yeah, once you have it in your Substratum node kind of UI here, you are going to have to send it to wherever you guys want to send your Substratum to, whether that's an exchange or a wallet. And there is your wallet address, and that is how you send it out. So that is basically an overview of the Substratum UI. That's what it's going to look like when the beta eventually releases. Obviously, there might be a few tweaks to this as this video is a little bit older, and they released this let's see, if I go to youtube.com, they did release this video on September 16th, so definitely an older video, but still, I think it has a lot of relevance to what we're saying. So they've been working on this for a long time, coming out September 16th, and I'm very excited to see when the nodes come out because I'm going to be taking advantage of this, as it's pretty much free Substratum for just running my computer. So hopefully you guys got an insight to the UI and what's behind it. Let's jump into some other things that factor the amount of Substratum that you can earn on the platform. Now I want to talk about some of the things that are going to influence how much Substratum you earn while hosting a node. So on January 1st, 2018, the first day of the new year, Substratum put out a tweet and it says hashtag Substratum FAQ. So some of the frequently asked questions the Substratum team gets. And then they threw in a video. And the video is basically going to be how many sub do you need to have to run a node? And they answered that by saying you don't need any to run a node. However, you are rewarded at a higher rate for owning more Substratum. They're going to get into that in the video. But now I want to give you guys a quick overview of the video and show you guys what's going to influence how much you guys can earn and how you guys can take advantage of earning more through Substratum. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to quickly run through this video and explain to you guys what you guys need to really know and take away from this. So here we go. As we jump into the video, I'm going to go over the 5 main highlights and the 5 main points to how you guys can earn more Substratum and what is influencing how much Substratum you earn. So we covered this earlier in the video, very self-explanatory, how many resources you devote. So the more CPU, RAM, bandwidth, GPU, whatever it might be that you guys can adjust in the UI sliders, you guys are going to be able to earn more Substratum based upon how many resources you sacrifice from your computer. So pretty self-explanatory there. Go on to number 2. Again, something that's pretty obvious, how often you leave your computer online. You can't earn money through Substratum if your computer is not working and your computer is not running. Let's go over to number 3, if you are in a protected region. So for those of you guys that are in China, Russia, areas where the internet is censored, you guys are going to be paid out more than somebody in the United States who's doing the same work. The reason is because the risk in China and Russia in those areas, while it's not a huge risk, Substratum does their best to make sure that there's encryption algorithms and your IP is masked and stuff like that, but there is an increased risk, so that is taken into account when the Substratum team pays you out. So if you're in a protected region, because of that increased risk, the Substratum team accounts for that. Going on to number 4, how long you've been a Substratum member. These last 2 are just basically going to focus on just keeping the coin strong and keeping the Substratum token going up in value over time. If you've been a Substratum member, it's going to encourage you to hold Substratum over time, because you know if I hold this cryptocurrency, I'm going to have the benefit of earning more Substratum through the node because I've been a long-term holder and a long-term investor in the Substratum token itself. So it encourages you to hold Substratum even though the node does not cost Substratum to use. So if you run a node and you've never held Substratum in your life and you say, hey, I'm earning 5 Substratum per day, maybe I want to earn 10. I'm not sure how much holding Substratum is going to influence how much you can earn, but in this scenario, let's say it's 10. So now you're going to go out and you're going to buy the Substratum token, which is going to help the community. It's going to help the Substratum token grow, and now you hold Substratum even though the node doesn't cost that. So it's helping the value of the token, and it's helping you understand that over time the Substratum token can increase in value. Additionally, as I go on to number 5, how much Substratum you own as a whole is also going to influence how much Substratum you earn. So I kind of touched on that in number 4, but basically the duration you own the Substratum token and the amount that you own are both 2 influencing factors to how much Substratum that you can earn from the node. So again, they're trying to keep their token healthy, keep it growing, and keep people incentivized to be invested in their cryptocurrency long term. And they're going to be doing this through incentivizing people to hold by earning more in the Substratum node if they do choose to run that. So that kind of runs over the 5 main highlights of this video. A lot of the things that I talked about are pretty much exactly what he said in the video, but I think that you guys find value in hearing my own words, because if you guys want, you guys can head over to Substratum's Twitter and watch the same exact video that I went over with you guys. They do a great job in just breaking it down and keeping it concise. I basically wrapped up a video that's 1 minute and 48 seconds, so they do a great job of explaining it over there, but I think you guys find value in my opinion. So with that said, let's go into the next section of the video where we talk about the beta and the Substratum nodes as a whole from somebody actually from the Substratum team. Now, I want to talk about some of the hardware information you guys should know before you guys eventually run a Substratum node when the Substratum node platform comes out. So, over on the CryptoLarks channel, he does an interview with the founder, Justin Tab, which came out November 30th. So, credit where credit's due. Definitely check out the CryptoLarks channel. Make sure to subscribe. This is a great video, and I definitely recommend that you guys check out this video if you're interested in running a node, because it does offer a lot of great information from Substratum's founder himself. But with that said, I'm going to summarize this clip. Basically, it's 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. I kind of have it timestamped here in the video at that 32 minutes, 45 seconds, 32 minutes, 24 seconds mark. Basically, Justin Tab talks about the hardware specifications to running a node. So while the nodes are not out and it's not available for people to use and start earning Substratum, what they're doing right now is they're in a closed beta. And within that closed beta, they're having people test the nodes to see what hardware specs are going to be the minimum to run the Substratum node. He says in the interview that there is a point where a computer is too slow and it's not able to render websites fast enough, and at that point they're just going to have to make the hardware cutoff wherever that may be, and that is going to be from their findings within the Substratum beta. So right now they're testing and they're trying to find out that information that you guys really want, which includes what are the PC specs I'm going to be need to run a Substratum node, what is the minimum, how much am I going to be able to earn with this graphics card or this processor, whatever it might be. They're looking into that right now and they're getting that information out of the beta. So hopefully you guys learned something. I know there's nothing concrete to this, but they are working on finding out what specifications are going to be necessary to actually host a node. So with that said, definitely check out the CryptoLarks channel. It's a great interview, but I think that gives you guys some insight into some of the things the Substratum team is doing, and that they are trying to push out the Substratum nodes and just move the platform forward at a good pace. But that's where the team is at as of November 30th. They may have gotten past that. They may have already gotten those specs. Who knows? The future will tell. But eventually when the Substratum nodes comes out, you guys will know what the minimum specifications are. So hopefully you got some insight from that interview, and check out the CryptoLarks channel. This is a great interview. Really benefited from this. So definitely. Quickly before I wrap up this video, I'm going to go over a YouTube video the Substratum team recently released on January 30th, so just a few days ago as of making the video. But basically, they upload a ton on their channel. They have over 7.3 thousand subscribers, and they do Substratum FAQs, office tours, interviews with some of the employees, and they do these FAQ videos, which I find are very, very informative if you guys have questions about Substratum. Very transparent and awesome to see that they're interacting with the community and they're answering questions that people actually have and have legitimate thoughts on. So the only one I'm going to cover, there's 3 here, but the one that's relevant to this video are the Substratum nodes. So in the first version of the Substratum node, it will run on Mac OS, Linux, and Windows operating systems. So the big 3 with Windows and Mac being what pretty much everybody uses. In the future, we have plans for Raspberry Pi as well as some other platforms, and we'll let you know about that in the future. We even have goals to get mobile devices involved in the node process in the future. So basically, anybody with any operating system, unless you're using something like the Raspberry Pi or just something less mainstream, you are going to be able to run a Substratum node, which is huge because it's not going to be limited to one device or one operating system over another. So that is going to increase mass adoption as well. So you guys can rest easy knowing that if you do have a pretty good computer, you are running Mac OS, Linux, or Windows, you are going to be able to participate in the Substratum node if everything goes well with the team and the execution of actually bringing it out. So hopefully you guys got some insight there. They do have goals in the future to bring it out on mobile, but I wouldn't say that's in the near future, as they still have to get out the original node for desktop and really get the bugs and just get that working as a whole. So awesome to see that they have ambitions for cool things, and that is what you guys need to know about where you guys can run a Substratum node, and hopefully you guys can rest easy at night if you guys have the necessary specs, a pretty good computer. I know the specs aren't out, but if you have a good computer and you have one of these 3 operating systems, you guys are going to probably be able to run a Substratum node successfully. Before we head on over to the outro, I want to wrap this up and give you guys my concluding thoughts and opinions on the Substratum nodes that will hopefully be releasing soon. Hopefully you guys took something away from this video, and hopefully you guys are looking into seeing if your computer will eventually be eligible to run a Substratum node. I know that's hard to do right now because there isn't a lot of specific and concrete information about what the specifications are for running a Substratum node, but it was my goal to give you guys a video that outlines the main things that you guys need to know, how the platform works, how the team is interacting and putting out information you guys that's useful, and give you guys some influencing factors to how the Substratum network is going to work and what's going to influence your Substratum buying decisions. Are you guys going to buy more Substratum in an effort to get ready for the node at the 65 cent mark? Are you guys going to wait for the node to come out, and are you guys going to test it first and then maybe jump in to buy more Substratum and holding it for a longer time? Let me know down in the comments section, because I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys are going to do, especially since they released that video on their Twitter letting everybody know what is going to impact the payouts for Substratum once they finally release the node. I am anxiously waiting for the nodes to kind of drop out of the beta, and I'm very anxious to see how this is going to run, because not only am I a big believer in the decentralized web that Substratum's trying to produce, but I am a believer in kind of the community-run blockchain project where people actually are hosting the nodes, and that's how the decentralized web works. So again, I'm also excited to earn Substratum and earn money for having my computer work and earning this passive income, as you guys might like to look at it and refer to it as. But pretty much, I am very optimistic about this platform, and really you guys took something away from this video. At the 65 cent mark, even though this is not investment or financial advice, for those of you that are really looking to maximize, and you guys know you have a computer, maybe you have a 1080, 1070, 1060 even, you have a computer that you're pretty positive will be able to run a node. It's powerful, it's going to work. You guys might want to jump in and maybe research the price behind Substratum right now, because it's 65 cents. I believe this cryptocurrency, like pretty much a lot of cryptocurrencies in the market right now, are extremely undervalued. Once we start getting into this bull market again in the next few months is what I personally believe. So definitely check that out. For those of you in the long term, check out those options for investing as well. Even though this is not investment or financial advice, this is just my personal opinion. That's going to do it for the video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys learned something you guys didn't know before watching the video. Substratum nodes are definitely interested, and I am interested to see if you guys are going to run them when they come out. If you're interested in it, something you guys learned in the video, make sure to comment down below, because as you guys can see, I'm very optimistic about the future of Substratum and the opportunity to make money passively by just running my computer in the background. With that said, I'm going to end with a disclaimer that says none of the information in this video is investment or financial advice. It's just my personal opinion. Please do your own research for investing. Invest at your own risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and consult a financial advisor if necessary. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.